You and I both know that playing metal guitar is awesome. It's just a cool feeling to be able to pick up your electric guitar, plug into an amp, or if you're playing with amp sims, and just play those palm muted notes, those riffs, those power chords. It's just cool. There's a reason why we love it. However, if you've been playing metal guitar for any extended period of time, and this can happen with any genre of music, by the way, there comes a point where you might start getting a little bored with it. I mean, yeah, you're playing different riffs and different patterns and whatever, but everything just starts kind of running together and sounding the same. Well, I've got 5 methods that I want to share with you in this video that I really believe is going to help break you out of that rut that you might be in right now and give you some fresh ideas and just a new perspective on not just playing metal guitar, but being a guitarist and musician in general. Now we're going to dive right into this, but make sure you hang around till the end of the video. We're going to have our usual guitar chat. This is probably the easiest way to get out of that rut, and that's by adding regular chords to your metal riffs. That breaks you free from the constant power chords and, single note riffing that you probably do in the same area of the fretboard and the palm muting and all that. All that stuff's great, but remember, sometimes we get stuck in that rut and you're like, everything just sounds the same. Well, try adding just regular old chords to the equation there. But before you do that, okay, and I'm going to go over what I played earlier here, I want you to do something. I want you to back the gain down on your amplifier or your amp sim, whatever you're playing through. The reason I'm telling you to do this is because you're going to get a little bit more clarity out of that by backing that gain down a little, especially playing these chords that we're about to implement. So here's what I did. I started out kind of with a stock, but then I went to an F, but instead of playing, which sounds cool, that's kind of that typical stock, E to the F there, I played the chord instead. Now, little caveat here, and this is a strategy that you can implement in other chords as well. Just the concept here, I didn't play just a regular F chord. What I did was I actually left that last E note, the little string there, I left it open, so kind of have to like hook your first finger around to do that. Now, doing that actually makes that little riff sound a little bit darker, which equates to more metal, right? Now, after that, I went to just a regular G and D. A little caveat on the D. Now the G, regular G, right? Real quick though, when I play a G, this is just, I didn't mean to go into this, it's something I like to share with you guys as we're talking about it. I actually fret the B string 3rd fret as well when I'm playing my G. It's just something I've done over the years, and I just like the way that G sounds better. Anyway, so the D, I actually don't play the regular D like this. You can, but to give it that, I guess that, again, darker and more hard rock heavy metal sound, I actually start with the lower octave of the 5th note of the D, which is the open A string, and I leave that last E string open, so you get this. And those are just some little things that I do. You don't necessarily have to do them. I just wanted to share that with you in case you're picking up, when I'm playing, you're like, wait, he's playing a D, but it's something a little bit different. And just play around with that. Just play around with using regular chords with your riffs. That will kind of give the music a little break there, right? It kind of makes things sound just a little different. And now you're kind of getting on that path to not playing everything the same way. Now you're adding some regular chords to it. Now this method here, we're going to piggyback off of what we just learned. We're going to play a couple of open chords with our metal riff, but the big thing that we're doing here, and this can help change everything in your playing and your songwriting, and that's playing a riff in a different key, specifically in a key that you might not be used to playing in. So we're in the key of C sharp minor. I'm in standard tuning as usual. Most of you guys know I pretty much stick to standard tuning across the board. But if you've ever listened to the album of really any metal band all the way through, one thing you'll notice on the majority of those albums, regardless of what they're tuned to, they're starting with that lowest and quote-unquote heaviest note possible, almost on every song. And almost every song, if not every song, is in the same key. Well, I want to challenge you to play in a different key. It's going to give you a new sound, it's going to spark new ideas, and it's going to get you out of that rut, okay, of always playing the same jun, 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 jun. Now you're in a different key, so different ideas are going to come about, and you're going to get some different sounds out of that as well. So again, we're in the key of C sharp minor here. So we're going to play this. That's our key that we're in. Now I started that little riff out just by palm muting those notes, kind of a typical metal riff there. Then I go to a D and an E, and I play the full chords there. Well, the D is the same D that we learned earlier, where you start with that open A string, leave the E string open as well. I go right into that E, okay? Now the second time around, I give it like a little crazy train kind of vibe there. So that's just to show you that you can do some different things and still have it sound and feel metal, still got that heavy metal vibe to it. However, playing it on some higher notes kind of gives it a different vibe than if you were to play it, you know, here. Just a little bit different sound, a little bit different vibe, and because you're going to be positioning your fingers in some different areas, I think that can just spark some new ideas. So again, try playing in a different key, and this is something I cover in my course, Metal Riff Master. I've got a link to that course in the description of this video, but I don't have you playing everything in the same E minor key there. I've got you venturing out. Now we're really venturing into some different territory here with method number 3, and this is a very simple method, guys, and sometimes we as metal guitar players may not always like to do this, but try playing clean. And I would say even give distortion a break for, let's say, an entire week and just play clean guitar. And if you're used to playing metal riffs all the time, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, I don't know what to do. It's like that Joe Dirt movie when, you know, there's problems with the well and it starts blowing up. It's like, I'm new and I don't know what to do. I always thought that was funny. Anyway, so I want you, and I challenge you guys, I challenge you to do this. I know some of you have even told me, it's like, Jason, I don't like playing clean guitar. I want to play metal all the time. Again, you're going to eventually, if you're not there already, you're going to eventually hit that rut where just everything just starts blending together. So playing some clean riffs and licks, that's a great way to kind of break out of that rut and again give you some new ideas. And of course there are plenty of metal songs with clean parts to them. I mean, we can think of one of my favorites right now. lot of stuff like that, you know. But don't even think in terms of, well, it's got to be a metal clean riff. No, it really doesn't. Just play anything. Play some chords. You know, we started playing chords earlier. Anything, if you want to play something like that, or hey, play in a different key, C sharp minor. And also a good thing to do is practice your solos on a clean channel as well. It'll just give you some new ideas, because you're used to playing a certain way with distortion. When you switch over to the clean channel, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, I need to kind of do something else, something different for this to sound good. And it's gonna push you, okay? It's gonna push you outside of that box and force you to come up with things that sound good playing on the clean channel, so that when you go back to playing with distortion, you're going to be really surprised on some of the cool stuff you're going to come up with, because now you've opened up that door and you've diversified yourself. You've forced your brain and your hands to do and think a little bit differently. So again, that's another great method. I challenge you to play clean, maybe play for an entire week, and then from there, make sure you practice on the clean channel, I don't know, maybe once or twice a week. The reason why I think this is so important, I know some of you love playing acoustic. I know a couple of you watching right now are probably resisting this whole thing, but just hear me out real quick on this. I challenge you to think of yourself as a guitar player first, a guitar player and musician first, then you're a metal guitar player. And I know we love metal music. I mean, some of you are in metal bands, you might be in some sort of extreme metal band, and that's just what you do. Hey, that's okay, that's fine. But as you break out of that box and venture into these other territories when you're practicing or just jamming, I think that will actually help you come up with new and fresh ideas in the subgenre that you play the majority of the time. I truly believe that. And again, think of yourself, you are a guitar player first, then a metal guitar player. I truly believe this is going to help you further yourself as a musician and just grow as a musician, and you won't be so boxed into that one little subgenre that you tend to play all the time, and you won't get stuck as often either. So, you know, just jam on some basic chords, and it doesn't have to be like all happy acoustic music. I mean, play some minors. Just throw in some chords, you know, play whatever comes to heart. Just mess around on it. Practice some little solos. The other thing too is, and I talked about this playing clean guitar, when you pick up the acoustic, you're forced to play a little bit differently. And again, this only helps you expand and grow as a guitarist, because first you're a guitarist, then you're a metal guitarist, okay? You're a guitarist and a true musician first.
I guess not so strange that I never went far. The years, they go by so fast. Did I ever have that piece of gold? Can you help me find that place where we were kings of the world? I fell behind.
Now, I know some of you are going to be resisting this final method here. You're going to be saying, Jason, dude, I'm a guitar player. I'm not a singer. This is where I draw the line, man. I'm not doing method number 5. Just hear me out real quick, guys. Now, I know some of you do sing, and some of you are interested in learning to sing and learning to, or to get better at that, especially singing and playing at the same time. I know that can be a challenge. If you can hear a sound and you can translate that onto this beautiful instrument here, you translated that to that E minor or this G note or whatever the case may be, well, guess what? You can also do the same thing with your voice. So you have it in you to sing, each and every one of you do. And I'm not saying you're going to be this, this grand vocalist like David Coverdale or Bon Jovi back in his day, or Steve Perry, or any of these guys. I'm not saying that that's what you're going to be, but you do have your own unique voice. And you guys know I talk a lot about this on my channel, developing your own sound and style, not someone else's, okay? I'm going to be giving some tips on singing and playing at the same time, and just some things to help you vocally. So stay tuned for that. There is definitely more to come with that. By the way, the little clip you just heard, that was an original song of mine that I played on stage. I usually play covers when I'm playing out on the weekends, but I'll throw in some originals, and I've been writing some more songs that can be played on acoustic and sang like that. That's unreleased, so you can look for that. I don't have a date on that yet, but it will be out at some point. Now, one more tip, kind of a bonus tip here. If you get bored playing whatever genre, whether it's metal, it could be blues, could be country, whatever it is, one thing that you can do is also spend more time playing guitar solos, working on your lead guitar skills, and play both clean leads and play some distorted leads as well. And I've got a couple of resources for you if you're just starting to play lead guitar. If you maybe have always considered yourself a rhythm guitarist, but you want to transition into playing more guitar solos, I've actually got a video up here. Check that out. That's great for beginners. Now, if you're already a little bit beyond that, or if you're more into I'd say the intermediate to advanced levels of playing guitar solos, I just posted a video about a week or two before this video on how to improvise your guitar solos. So I'll put that video up there so you guys can go check that out as well. But that's a great way to kind of break out of that rut of playing the same rhythms over and over, and just getting into making some melodies, creating some melodies with your guitar solos. All right, now it is time to jump into our little guitar chat. I love having these with you guys at the end of these videos because I feel like we're all just kind of sitting in my studio, although this is a very tiny room, but I feel like we're just hanging out here together. Real quick before we get into that, remember I've got my guitar courses in the description of this video, so spend some time in the description of the video after this video is over and check those out. Got a lot of good stuff for you in there. I know we ventured off into some slightly different styles. We kind of hung around in the metal genre there in the beginning, then we kind of got lighter and lighter and lighter, and I did that on purpose because a lot of times when you're playing heavy metal guitar or any subgenre of metal, you've got the distortion just fully cranked up there. So you're kind of getting the same, type of tone and sound. Even if you're playing with different amps, it's just all distortion. When you back the gain off of your amp or amp sim, whatever you're playing through, we did that in some of the earlier methods here. When you back that gain off, you tend to get a little bit more clarity, and this is when you can start integrating those things like full chords and even playing some different things in different keys. You're going to hear those notes because you're going to have a little bit more clarity, and it just gets you used to maybe articulating your notes a little bit better rather than having all that distortion kind of covering stuff up. And we also ventured into some clean and acoustic guitar as well, and we even talked about singing and playing, which is something I really challenge you to start doing. I've got more videos coming up on that, and we're going to talk about that in a second here. But what I don't want you to think, guys, I don't want you to think that I'm saying, well, you have to learn all genres of music. You have to like blues and jazz and country and all this other stuff. Look, maybe you like some of those, maybe you don't really care for any of those, but that really wasn't the point of this video. I'm not saying you have to play genres that you just don't care for, because we all have that, right? So what I am saying saying though is allow yourself the freedom, give yourself the freedom to venture out and try some new things, and you may come up on some genres that you're like, oh, I do kind of like this. And it's not that you will stop playing metal. I'll never stop playing heavy metal. It's just my first love in music, and probably a lot of you are the same way. It's your first love. It's why you picked up the guitar. So we're never going to stray from that, but it doesn't mean that we can't venture out and try some different things and open up to some different things to see if we like them. Now, I had mentioned some things that I had for you, some new things coming up on the channel here. Some of the stuff you guys already know. One is I'm going to be putting some more tips out there, videos that are going to have tips on playing live, and specifically playing live solo gigs. Now, whether you play acoustic for these gigs, which that probably makes the most sense, but you can play electric for these gigs as well. I have found that it's a really good way to expand your skill set. You know, we just talked about venturing out. Well, this is a great way to expand and learn a new skill, because trust me, when you start singing and playing, and then you get up there on stage and start doing that, and all of you have it in you to do this. Just trust me on this. I'm going to bring this out in you, even if you don't believe it. But when you start doing these things, you build a completely different skill set, and you actually get better at your core instrument as well in doing these different things, singing and playing guitar, and also doing that on stage. And when I say getting on stage, guys, I mean starting out at things like an open mic, right? Or just playing in front of a group of friends or family on the weekend, something like that. You know, take those steps. And I'm going to be putting more content to help you do that and to help you land your first gig. I've got a really cool video that I'm working on. It's taking me some time because I'm building it. This is going to be a complete tutorial on how to get started playing these live solo gigs. I'm also going to be giving you more lead guitar content as well. I mentioned my improvising solos, guitar solos video I just put out about a week or so ago from this video, but I'm going to be doing more videos like that to help you in that arena. I know a lot of my videos have been rhythm based, and that's simply because, you know, you can have a song without a guitar solo. We don't really want that, but you can still have the song without the solo. However, you cannot have a song without the rhythm. So I focused a lot on the rhythm playing, and even my guitar courses that are out there right now. I am working on a lead guitar course, more to come on that. And by the way, guys, again, those links are in the description of this video, so definitely check those out. But I do want to give you more lead guitar content. I know I mentioned my latest lead guitar tips that I gave you on improvising guitar solos. I actually shared a live guitar solo that I did a week or so ago when I was playing at SeaWorld. I was playing at the Flamecraft bar. That was a pretty cool event, by the way. I've got that video if you guys haven't seen that on the actual event that I played at. And guys, if you have any questions about what we covered in this video or some of the upcoming stuff that I just went over, please drop a comment. I do read your comments, and I love to read your comments. You guys know that. While you're at it, please give this video a like. YouTube likes that. I appreciate it. And also make sure you subscribe to the channel. I am committed to you guys. I'm committed to continuously giving you guys content that I hope to be of value to you. So thank you once again for all the support you've given this channel. Really appreciate you guys. Until the next video, as always, keep it metal.